I want to frame my words this evening by three simple quotes, and it's my hope that these help you to get a context and to engage the Word of God that comes to us this Sunday. The first comes from a funeral this past Thursday that I was preparing for. The woman's name was Audrey. She'd been a long-time parishioner here, belonged to the seniors group for many years. And all those who knew Audrey, including me, knew that she was unique and free in her uniqueness. Like she had a beautiful faith, but it was the kind of faith that allowed her distinct personality to show forth. She could be direct, she could be sassy, she loved art, interior design, and it was wonderful. And the quote, as I was thinking of her, comes from St. Thomas Aquinas. He said, "From nature springs the fear of death. From grace springs audacity." Just want you to think about that for a minute. For nature springs the fear of death. I got to hold on to my life. I got to be worried about what's around the corner, what sacrifice is going to be demanded of me, what's surprise that I don't like, and then death. Man, I don't even want to think about it. And we can live in that kind of way of being. But from grace, the awareness that God is alive and He's close and He wants me to know His presence with me in my life, springs audacity. Like I take risks and I make ventures and I'm not afraid. I think this is the point of the parable. What's the difference between those two who traded freely? We're told one talent was like 20 years of wages. And they trade so freely and boldly, and it's like, what makes them do that? Versus the other one who's afraid. He's afraid, so he buries it. And we see the Lord's response to both of these. Or how about St. Paul? He says, death is going to come like a thief in the night for all of us. But he says for believers it should be different. Maybe it's like we open the door and we welcome because we haven't been living bound by that fear. From nature springs the fear of death, from grace, audacity. I think sometimes, if we're honest, we live our faith as an insurance policy. It's compartmentalized. It's over here in my life. It's not the thing that integrates the decisions I make, why I get up, life, light, strength, hope. And then we're the less for it. And we almost live in a defensive posture in life. The true saints, the ones who reflect the light of Christ, have this, just to be audacious. Take chances. Our culture is obsessed by scandal, and I think that says more about us. It's almost like, look, if you take a chance, the fall's going to be that much worse. And you know what I say? Of course, Lord, keep us from scandal. Help us to be vigilant. But at least they were in the arena. Are we in the arena? Or are we just kind of living our faith I don't know, do I want to go outside of myself today? I like my routine. It's comfortable. It's safe. From nature springs the fear of death. From grace, audacity. The second quote comes from, a few weeks ago, a man from this parish on the silent retreat that I was leading in South Dakota. He asked me, is God hard to please? Is He demanding? Super sincere question. And all I could think to tell him was this quote from C.S. Lewis. He said, actually, God is easy to please because He's a good Father. He sees your goodwill. He sees your striving. He sees your holy desire. He encourages you. He's a good Father. He's easy to please. But C.S. Lewis would say, He's hard to satisfy. Now, why is that? Because only God knows what you're capable of becoming. we would always settle for less. We would. And what's this life about? It's about you and I being stretched towards the generosity of God. You know? Like, we're not here just for comfort. We're here as a passing through. What does he say to those first two? I mean, can you imagine? Is there anything else we'd want to hear? Well done, come share my joy. Well, to share God's joy, our heart, our interior, our soul has to be expanded. The saints called this the virtue of magnanimity, large-souled. Otherwise, we just settle. So God, yes, he's easy to please. He's not a taskmaster. But he actually is very hard to satisfy because he's holy. And he's called us to be holiness. And he's called us to share his joy. And so he can work through any circumstance, especially those that are difficult and stretching, to open us more, to be formed by his generosity. The last quote is from St. Therese of Lisieux, one of the most famous saints in 2,100 years of living this. She only lived to be 24 years old. She was in a cloistered Carmelite convent. She was dying of tuberculosis, coughing up blood at the age of 24. And her fellow sisters looked at her and they felt, oh, this is such a pity. You're too young, you're too good for this to happen. And she just would say with a smile, all is grace. All is grace. I want to propose to you that conviction, like etched on our heart, is the bedrock conviction from which ongoing conversion flows. Otherwise, I just live my faith in a kind of measured way. I don't let God lead me or open me. I just kind of like, I don't know, this is mine and that's yours. And all is grace. So, my brothers and I and sisters, we would play the game, board game Life. Do you remember the board game Life? The little car, and you get married and then you get some kids and you got, and what was the goal at the end of life? Who won? Well, when you got to the end of the finish line, you counted up the money, and it was who was the richest. I think you could even trade your kids in for a certain, isn't that something? I was thinking about based on today's scriptures, what would a Catholic Christian version of life look like? It would be the one who got to the finish line, and behind you, you had like 20 cars because people were just drawn, attracted to your example. You didn't even know they were behind you, but they made it to the goal. And then, actually, the winner would be the one who has no money left. As my old coach said, you left it all on the field. I can't take it with me. It just was meant to bless other people. Your time, your very time. I can be selfish with my time. I mean, I really can't because of the form of life God's called me to. But I can try to negotiate or this is my time. I feel like Gollum in Lord of the Rings, my precious, or my talents, or my financial resources. And it's like we haven't begun living until we have this conversion that everything is grace. Otherwise, we just live in fear. We just clutch at things, I want to close with this, but this last week I lost a dear friend, a good brother priest, who's meant so much to all of us. And he's this kind of man who just had this amazing humanity, like masculine, wise, fun. And so many of his sayings have formed us. And he could joke, like if a brother was being very annoying, he'd look at him and say, it's lucky I'm a Christian because I want to break every bone in your body, But he also was the one who said, if you want to be miserable in life, just live your vocation halfway. Don't ever give it all, just live it halfway. I'm going to negotiate this kind of thing with my spouse. I'm going to live from this retreat position. I'm never going to go to bed exhausted because I've given everything. And you and I can let so many hurts and disappointments and the lack of response or what we expected other people to do and they didn't, We can let that just actually only give half of ourselves. But we're never more happy than when we give everything, our full person. Then it's audacious living. Did I say I was done? This is I'm done. Do you know what? You know we're putting all our chips in. We're betting everything at St. Ambrose. We. You know what we're doing? We're putting all our chips in that people come awake to their own dignity, their own gifts, how close Jesus is in their life. And then what happens from there? Who knows? It's already happening. But it's not going to be co-opted for some ultimate plan I have. Like if you just give more of yourself, here's the plan. No, just come alive, come awake, give more. Give more than you think you could. In prayer to God. In relating your heart to Him, in your time. From nature springs the fear of death. From grace, audacity. This God who we love and worship, actually is easy to please, but hard to satisfy. And for that we thank Him. And ultimately, everything, your next breath is grace.